taking the time to watch this brief video highlighting Chaffey College's services for veteran students. Did you know that according to estimates from our State Chancellor's Office, over 75% of the veterans and their dependents who are using the GI Bill at California post-secondary institutions are enrolled at a community college? That's 75% on the GI Bill in community colleges. That percentage represents roughly 16,000 students in community colleges in our state. My name is Alicia Serrano, and I am a member of Chaffey College's Veterans Response Team and a member of the Human Resources staff. During this video, you will hear from staff, faculty, and a student about Chaffey's services to veterans and new efforts to serve their educational goals. I'll start by sharing information with you about the college's Veterans Response Team and introduce some of our new services for veteran students. The Veterans Response Team grew out of the college's response to the new post-9/11 GI Bill and the desire to prepare for an increase in the number of student veterans participating in new educational opportunities. Co-chairs Michael Dinelli and Lori Waite encourage participation from all groups college-wide. The result is a team of about 30 faculty, staff, and students representing all three campuses. The team is committed to ensuring our veteran students receive the service and support they need to both enjoy their experience at Chaffey and successfully complete their educational goals. Over the last year, the team has developed several objectives, including the implementation of 3 new support services to veteran students. One of the most exciting new services is a Veterans Resource Center, scheduled to open this fall. The center is located in the Administration Building, room 125, and is currently undergoing some of its finishing touches. Once open, the center will serve as a space that provides a sense of community amongst those who have served in any branch of the military. The center will be primarily staffed by veterans for veterans. Additionally, the center will include ongoing services offered by counseling and disability programs and services staff. It is intended that veterans will also use the center to access Department of Veterans Affairs representatives and other services that support their educational needs. A second new service offered this fall to our college community is a veterans webpage housed at chaffey.edu. The webpage offers veteran students and all of us who serve them information specific to services, benefits, and resources for veterans. Finally, the team has developed a concept that, to our knowledge, is unique to Chaffey. Veteran students will soon be introduced to designated areas at all 3 campuses where a faculty or staff member is prepared to welcome veterans. Students will be welcome to stop in and say hello, share a positive experience, perhaps discuss a problem, obtain information, or simply take a breath alongside someone who is experienced with or who is learning about the issues and needs that can be unique to veterans. Do not be surprised when you start seeing veterans welcome signs on the doors and windows of your colleagues' offices. I've shared with you the work of the Veterans Response Team, Chaffey's selection to a new and exciting pilot project, and 3 new services we are offering this fall. Now I'd like to welcome Laura Rhodes from Admissions and Records to discuss a few key issues related to current veteran services.
Hi, my name is Laura Rhodes, and I'm the Veteran Certifying Official here at Chaffey College. Veteran Services is located in the Student Services Administration Building in the Admission and Records Office. My primary goal is to help veteran students and their eligible dependents receive their GI Bill benefits. How this works is usually when a veteran or eligible dependent comes into our office, I am their first point of contact. Once they have applied, then we go ahead and set up an appointment. And this usually takes about 30 minutes. This is a requirement. I sit down with the veteran or eligible dependent and we go over all the paperwork required. As far as following their academic progress, at the end of every term, I do receive a failing grade report. As far as the faculty goes, I do send an email. It is marked high priority, and in the body of that letter, I do put the student's name, the student's ID number, the class title, and the section number. As what we need to find out is if the student attended class to the end or if they stopped attending, and I give a 2-week window in which I need a response by. So there are 3 ways that we can verify a non-attendance. First, if it's an online class, you can let me know the last date the student logged in. If it is an in-resident class, then we can determine class attendance by the last assignment that was turned in. Or the third way is by letting me know when the last test was taken. Okay, so when you are submitting your reply, you can do one of two things. If the student did complete the class, all you need to respond is student did complete the class, resulting in an F grade. Or if it is a non-attendance issue, all you have to put is the student's last date of attendance and fill in that date. The VA has very strict guidelines when it comes to reporting failing grades. So it is imperative that I get 100% response from the faculty members. Because overall, we do want our veterans to have a positive experience. And I want to thank you for all your support, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Okay, good afternoon, colleagues. It may be morning, it may be afternoon, but Baron Brown here, the Administration of Justice Program. Many of you may know me, many of you may not have ever seen me before. But I am also a veteran. I'm in the United States Coast Guard Reserve. I'm a commander, which is equivalent to a lieutenant colonel. For those who are trying to do the math between the services, that's how they match up. And it's a senior management position, so I have a lot of responsibility. And understanding that, I have to balance my world with, of course, my reserve obligation, being recalled, and my obligations here at Chafee. That is the exact same thing that has to happen with your students that are veterans. And these are some of the things that you have to kind of think about a little bit as you move forward with our increasing number of veterans that are coming into the college environment. And one of the driving forces behind that is the new GI Bill. You still have benefits from the Montgomery GI Bill, but the new GI Bill is such an outstanding tool for our veterans now, for our young veterans especially, that many of them are taking advantage of it. So you will see increasing numbers in your classes. And these are some of the things you probably got to think about as you move forward in trying to teach veterans versus trying to teach non-veteran type students. First of all, a lot of these veterans, even if you look in their faces and they look young, a lot of them have had a lot of responsibility already. A lot of them have given direction and have managed already, even if they're in their early 20s or mid-20s. And they've been in almost totally a vocational training type of environment. Learn it, digest it, get out there and apply it, as opposed to an academic and theoretical environment. So the thing you may need to do is, as you look at these different types of learning styles that may be required as you balance the veterans' recent learning style with the academic students' recent learning style, you may have to make some modifications. You may have to take a little bit of time, take some pause and think about, how can I reach that learner that's more vocationally focused? Also, the balance, as I mentioned before. A lot of these veterans that get out, you think, oh good, he's done, he's been released from active duty, great, he can focus on school. And he probably has a reserve obligation. Now, a lot of our veterans may be very proud, strong spines, really stand up to the challenge, and so they might not take advantage of some of the services that we offer on Chafee's campus that they desperately may need. Some of the partnerships and some of the even links that are on the veterans website, such as the PTSD-A link and the link for traumatic brain injury, and looking at DPS. All these are types of services that our veterans need to know about. Integrating these within your syllabi would be a nice thing to do. Letting them know about all the success centers. I'm sure that the great majority are already putting those items into your syllabi, but if you can just throw a couple extra links in there and have a little bullet in there about, if you're a veteran or reservist, why don't you visit our Veterans Center? Or why don't you go to this particular link? And do you know who Laura Rhodes is? Also, please make sure that if you can, put a bullet in there about Laura Rhodes and about her connection and the process as far as admissions. A lot of this can be overwhelming. It's overwhelming to a standard student. So for you to get off of active duty and come into the academic environment and see how many different steps you have to go through, it can be overwhelming. And trust me, a lot of our veterans don't know all the benefits of the new GI Bill. They don't know all the benefits of the Montgomery GI Bill, and they don't even know about the availability of tuition assistance. which can pay for all of these vehicles, can pay for their entire undergrad, can pay for their entire grad school, and can also support them financially going through JD programs, going through PA or PAC programs, nursing programs, master's programs, and PhD programs. So these are some of the things that, believe it or not, we have available within our federal government infrastructure to support veterans. But a lot of our faculty, a lot of us, period, simply don't know about these tools. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me on some of these challenges or issues and how I would navigate it if I had 5 veterans in my class, of which I have had before. And it was very warm, but it was also a moment for me to contemplate on how I'm going to approach their needs. So please feel free to contact me, email me, baron.brown@chaffey.edu. Please visit the veterans link off the main Chaffey website. And just take a moment and think about all the sacrifices that the veterans made so we can enjoy the lifestyle we have. And that's pretty much all I have. Thank you very much, colleagues.
Hello, faculty at Chaffey College. My name is Jerry Squires. I'm an engineering major here at Chaffey. I've been going here for a year now. This will be my 3rd semester that I'm starting in the fall. And I was a Marine for 4.5 years. I served in Iraq, and I'm a veteran student here. So I know what it is to live through combat. I know what it's like to be in the military and transition into a civilian, as well as turn from a civilian into a student. And I want to talk to you today about the challenges that veterans face when transitioning into from the military to be a student. Like I said, I was in Iraq in 2003. I was stop loss to go to war. I actually got out in August of 2003, and I came home. I started working, and I started having problems back in 2004. I started having PTSD problems. I started having panic attacks so bad that I would pass out, and my life started to kind of implode. And you feel lost. You feel like you're searching for something, and you really don't have that the camaraderie, the backup that you had, the support that you had while you're in the military. You feel alone. You feel depressed, and I think that if veterans could transition cleanly from the military directly into school, that a lot of that could be alleviated. And with this new GI Bill that's came out, it's making it a lot easier for the veterans. They're paying for all their tuition. They're paying for their books. They're paying for their housing stipend that allows them to not have to work and be able to live off of their BAH that they receive. Now, transitioning from the military side into a student, there's a lot of challenges that they face. You've got kids that go into the military at 18 years old. They move up, you progress fairly quickly into leadership positions. Like I said, I was an E5 as a sergeant at 21 years old. I was running a gun artillery section of 12 Marines in combat. And you have a great deal of responsibility that's placed on your shoulders, and you feel it. And when you transition out, you're just a 21-year-old kid, just like everybody else, with really no skills that you can transition other than your leadership skills into the civilian world. And that is problematic for a lot of Marines and for a lot of veterans in general, that they feel like they're taking steps back. They're regressing instead of progressing in their lives. In the classroom, I think group work's what's been working for me. I get into groups, I have a chance to take control of a situation in the group, and I learn more that way from actually helping people, teaching people, than I do sitting in the classroom. And I think that's beneficial not only for veterans but every student. But veterans especially, because they have that such strong bond with other people, with other Marines that they're missing out on. That's one thing that I definitely think would help out veterans in the classroom. Vets are some of the most dedicated and most loyal people that we could possibly have on campus here. They have diverse worldviews. They've been across the globe, seen different cultures, different civilizations. They know what it's like. They haven't just read the book, they've lived it and breathed it. And that's beneficial to everybody in that classroom.
Thank you for your time. Our goal in offering this video is to share information with you related to the college's services to veteran students. We hope that you will plan to visit the new Veterans Resource Center this fall, begin to explore the new Veterans webpage, and respond to any failing grade letters you receive. The new academic year promises to be an exciting one for you and all of our students.